And I wanted to recognize the importance of the land that we each reside upon. We do this to reaffirm our commitment and responsibility in improving relations between nations and improving our own understanding of local Indigenous peoples and their cultures. The University of Regina's main campus and CIPHER are on Treaty 4 lands in the territories of the Dakota, Lakota, and Nakota, and the homeland of the Métis Nation. From coast to coast to coast, we acknowledge the ancestral and unceded territory of all the Inuit, Métis, and First Nations people that call this nation home. So please join us in thinking about and really considering how we can each, in our own way, move forward in a spirit of reconciliation and, of course, in a spirit of collaboration. So, to get us started this evening, first of all, I should introduce myself. My name is Garbia Bailing, and I'm so pleased to be here to guide you through the hour or so that we have together. Now to our first presenter, Rachel Werrett from the Training and Development Project for PSP. Rachel is the project lead. Hi, Rachel.
Good afternoon. My name is Rachel Werrett, and I am the Manager of Training and Development at CIPHER, and I am the program lead for the Training and Development Program for PSP. Again, welcome everybody to the PSP Mental Health Training Showcase hosted by CIPHER. Thank you very much to MC and the CIPHER team for hosting us today. I am the Manager of Training and Development. I've been at CIPHER for over 3 years. I did have a previous role as the Operations Manager of the Knowledge Translation Hub at CIPHER. And previously, I did work at the Center for Continuing Education in Career and Professional Development, managing and leading professional development programs, leadership programs, health leadership programs, and all of those and all of those types of programs. We're going to talk today. I know that Gabby and Nicole also have a presentation today, so we're going to try and make sure that we get through both sets of contents and have lots of time for questions. So we're going to continue on. We are just going to quickly define, not that everybody needs a definition, but we are going to put a quick definition out for public safety personnel. Because we all know that when hearing the term public safety personnel or PSP, most people think of highly visible professions like firefighters and police officers, whether they be volunteer or not, paramedics and police, including municipal, provincial, and federal, so of course the RCMP. But there are many other types of public safety personnel, for example, corrections officers, correctional workers, search and rescue personnel, 911 communicators, public safety communicators, and many of those who are often out of sight, including CBSA agents and corrections officers. So we recognize, although that list is not necessarily exhaustive of all that might identify as public safety personnel, but this is kind of our target audience when we're talking about who our project targets in regards to recruitment for some of our training programs. And so the reason that we kind of have defined, or the reason that we do define, CIPHER does define that way, is because we do work off of previous research data or research information, which is this prevalence information that's showing right now. So as you can see here, there's 2 sets of prevalence information. So prevalence information listed is the proportion of the public safety population that's kind of listed there at the top that's found to be affected by a mental disorder symptom. You can see according to this slide that there is a general population. So if you're not a PSP, and then as you move towards the right-hand side, it lists different sectors of public safety personnel. And if you take a look at the prevalence information for both the mental disorder symptoms and the suicide ideation, planning, and attempt, this truly does show why CIPHER was created, or why we do the work that we do, and why it's so important for us to do the research that we do, because public safety personnel on a regular basis are exposed to potentially multiple traumatic events throughout the course of their day and throughout the course of their career. So this prevalence information really does show how public safety personnel are so profoundly affected by the things that they see and that they do every day. Public safety personnel are disproportionately affected by symptoms of mental disorders or shifts in their mental health continuum on a regular basis. So you'd think that the answer is obvious to why they suffer from these mental disorder symptoms, or why they have more prevalence in regards to suicidal ideation, planning, and attempts. But in actuality, it's not just the exposure to the traumatic events. We do know that there are other factors and stressors that affect public safety personnel that also affect their well-being. I'd also just take a moment here to introduce team training. So this is the training team that specifically works on the training and development for public safety personnel. There's myself and Derek and Caitlin, who are the administrators of the programs. And then we kind of have the research team down at the bottom, who is Michelle McCarran, Alaya, and Robin. We do also have, who's camera shy, I don't have a picture of him yet, is Siavash. He's new to the team. He's our statistician, and he's the one that does a lot of our stats. Obviously, CIPHER and the training team doesn't make this happen without the support of CIPHER and the CIPHER Hub, as well as those that are a part of the CIPHER Hub, which is also the Public Safety Steering Committee, and our ARC network, which is our research network of clinicians. So this is just a quick slide of some of the work that we've done through through our PHAC funding. We are going to focus on the bottom part of the slide today, which is in 2023-2024. Our extension funding consists of continued updated offerings of our Treatment 101 course offering, continued offerings of our online R2MR course offerings at the frontline level, and our new Sleep 101 course offerings. So through our current Public Health Agency of Canada funding, as I said, our project is running multiple types of training in various different formats. We do collect research data at multiple points, both pre and post course, on all of the courses that are listed there. And then to give you an idea of some of the things that we have available, so Treatment 101 for public safety personnel is our online course that's specifically designed to guide participants through the process of deciding upon and obtaining services from professional mental health care practitioners. So we built this based on research and research studies, and as well as knowledge that we removed from a specific toolkit series that was called 6 Steps to Finding a Clinician. So if you go on the CIPHER website, there is a toolkit there called 6 Steps to Finding a Clinician. It helps guide public safety personnel on how to find the right way to find a clinician that's a good fit for them. However, in building that toolkit, we realized there was a lot of treatment resources that weren't all together in one place. And therefore, when we had the opportunity to build Treatment 101, we went ahead and did that. The good thing about Treatment 101, it's asynchronous and it's online, so you completely do it at your own pace and at your own time. It is approximately 8 weeks over the course of a 2-week block period of time. There is a certificate of completion available if you pass a little quiz that we have at the end. It is currently available in English only, but we are running it monthly, so registration is open for November, December, January, and February. So the good thing about this program is that 3 modules are released in the first week. You have 1 full week to complete the first 3 modules whenever you have the time in order to be able to do it. And then at the start of the second week, the remaining modules and the quiz becomes open to you. Again, you can complete it at your own pace, but it does take 2 weeks, and you do have to do part of it in the first week and part of it in the second week. We just know that that's the best way for you to be able to retain all the knowledge and not just cram it all in all at the end right before it closes. So this has been a great addition to 6 Steps to Finding a Clinician. And again, because it's online and asynchronous, it's really easy for people to be able to find the time to access, regardless of whether you're on shift or not. We have had some post-course program data from 2022, 2023 that has come out in regards to Treatment 101, so increased knowledge. So 75% of people report that they have learned a lot or a great deal. 81% report that they remember a lot or a great deal of the course material. And then obviously over 85% feel quite a bit or great deal confidence in their ability to be able to access mental health resources if they need to, which is really great, because what we have found is that people in crisis sometimes, you know, if you're in crisis and you're having yourself a mental health crisis, that people that normally would be very skilled at being able to walk through a process and to be able to find help won't necessarily be able to have the capacity to do that if they're having a crisis themselves. So knowing how you can access skills and knowing where you can access resources is so important. We also know that 75% believe very much or extremely in their ability to be able to implement the skills from that course. So again, very important in regards to the fact that if you find that your mental health, your mental wellness is slipping, and you find that you need more resources, or you're finding you're needing treatment when you potentially didn't need it previously, that you're able to actually implement and still be able to utilize the skills and the resources from that course. The second course that we're offering currently is the Road to Mental Readiness program. We do have it in an online version. It's the level 1 frontline version, where public safety personnel gain key resiliency and toughness skills. The training additionally includes generic mental health education, early identification signs of mental illness, and adaptive coping strategies to respond to those inherent public safety occupations. We do focus quite a bit on stigma reduction and also responding to a person in crisis, whether that be another person that you're responding to, or whether or not it be somebody in your own personal circle or within your sector. We often refer to this version as ER2MR. So if you ever hear anybody say ER2MR, that's what they're referring to. ER2MR, it comes to us from the Canadian Armed Forces, from the Department of National Defense. We have adapted it specifically for public safety personnel. It is synchronous and online, which means that we use a combination of online, of access to the materials on an online platform, as well as synchronous facilitation with 2 facilitators. One of them is always a peer, and they are peer, and the conversations are peer-led. It's approximately 6 to 6.5 hours over the course of 4 specific dates. So you would have to check a calendar to make sure that you're available on the dates that are listed. You do also receive a certificate of completion for this course. Currently, the CIPHER offerings are available in English only. If you have a sector that has access to a level 2 or a master trainer that speaks French, the content is also available if you have access to a French facilitator. This has been a very popular course for us. We've added multiple course offerings over the course of both last year and this year. So November and December for us are actually waitlisted currently, but there is registration available for January and February of 2024. That being said, if the dates for November and December work for you, you can always go to the CIPHER website and register for the waitlist, because inevitably, as we all know, public safety personnel have barriers sometimes that allow them to attend. And so we just recently, for the course that's starting just this week, I think we've had 10 people off the wait list that have been able to join. So if the dates for November and December interest you, even though it is already full, please go ahead and join the wait list if you're interested in that. We do have some post-course data for the ER2MR courses. So 100% of those who've completed the surveys agree or strongly agree that the course addresses issues that are specifically relevant to public safety personnel. 92% agree or strongly agree that since taking the course, they have noticed changes in their ability to show leadership. 82% believe that they can implement the skills from the course quite a bit or a great deal, which is really great, because we talk about stigma reduction and how to stop and how to battle stigma. And so to hear that there are that many people that are taking our courses that believe that they have a greater sense of leadership is wonderful, and that also that they can implement some of the tools that we have given them is also really amazing. The newest offerings that we have at the CIPCERT training page is Sleep 101. So given the increased understanding of the importance of sleep, both mental and physical health, CIPCERT has partnered with Dr. Colleen Carney, who's the director of the Sleep and Depression Lab at the Toronto Metropolitan University, to develop a course specifically for public safety personnel. Colleen is an amazing presenter. This course is also synchronous and online. It focuses specifically, and it does do a lot of work specifically on shift work and how to sleep well for public safety personnel. As we know, there are most of the public safety sectors that work shift work or work throughout the night or have reversing shifts and are not able to sleep while they're on shift, have struggle or difficulty sleeping, which we know that sleep is one of the best ways to recover both mentally and physically. So this course is synchronous and it's online. So Dr. Colleen Carney facilitates the courses. It's 6.5 hours for the full course, and it's 4 sessions. So it's about 2.5 to 2 hours. There'll be the first course, which is Sleeping Well for Public Safety Personnel, is usually on a Wednesday in 1 week. And then we give you guys a break to be able to kind of implement some of the tools or to be able to potentially take some of the information that she's given you. And then you come back the following week for 4 3 2-hour sessions addressing insomnia and public safety personnel, apnea, and coping with shift work. So you receive a certificate of completion if you complete the entire course, and this course is currently offered in English only as it stands right now. However, we are doing Wordly interactive French for the next 2 sessions. So if you do have somebody that's a French speaker that is interested in taking the course and they're interested in listening to the interpretation, they can certainly do that for the next 2 courses as well. Some feedback that we've had from SLEEP. This is data that we just have from 2023. So from a spring course session that we had and then a September session that just closed. I know that it looks weird that it says 90% on both of those stats. However, they are 90%, to double check them before I put them up there, but 90% agree or strongly agree that the course addresses issues that are relevant to public safety personnel, and 90% agree or strongly disagree that they found the training helpful and that they learned a lot in the course. Of course, we don't have as much long-term data on this specific course because we just started offering it with the extension funding. So some of the outcomes of that long-term 3- and 6-month evaluations will be coming out at the end of the fiscal year, at the end of the funding year. And then just as a nice quote, this course should be taught in high school. These concepts were life-changing for me. So that's really also grateful to hear that not only is it relevant to public safety personnel, but that it's practical knowledge that you can share with your family and your friends, obviously, as well. So I have a quick poll here, and I do need, Kara, for you to launch the poll because I can't see it. So we've been going through this process of registering public safety personnel in our learning courses that are funded via Public Health Agency of Canada for almost 2 years now. So we've noted that many public safety personnel have many personal, organizational, and operational stressors that can prevent them from starting or completing a training program that they enroll in. So given if that CIPHER lists the time, date, and commitments requirements for their website, and all of their registration confirmation includes all of the information you need to be able to commit, including course reminders. I want to learn from the participants that are here today. If you were to choose to register for a training course, what might be a barrier for you to start and or complete a course? So again, keeping in mind these parameters that you've already established that it's a course that you want to take, and when you register for it, you know that you can commit to the date, time, and requirement. We would like those public safety personnel that are present here today to chat a little bit about what might be a barrier for them to either starting and completing the course, because as a lesson learned for us, we can take many registrations, and the start rate and the completion rate are actually quite low. So despite the content and the information being very valuable, we have found that many people take up seats, but then unfortunately are unable to start or complete the course. So if we give just maybe a minute or so, we can then close the poll and maybe share some results.
25% answered withdrawn organizational support, 81% conflicting schedule, 6% the course was not what I thought it would be about, and 25% other.
Okay.
So overwhelmingly conflicting schedule, 81%.
Conflicting schedule. So understanding that, knowing that you have committed to the course based on the dates that have, that there is always that potential of that conflicting schedule. And we've always, as a lesson learned, been curious in regards to how, about why people don't complete, but because sometimes people don't even start, we don't even have the opportunity to ask them. So thank you everybody for your feedback in regards to that. Unfortunately, we only have 4 options, so I was trying to keep them in broad ways that I could try and categorize them, but if there is something that doesn't fit into those categories into the other, if you could pop that into the chat, that would be great. And then just to kind of keep myself on time, because I think I'm already 2 minutes over, some program updates. So registration for all of our programs, for all of our remaining programs, are still open. So I encourage you guys to go to our website, which is the CIPHER website, and click on the training tab. The website is always being updated. Use the CIPHER website as a resource. It's an amazing resource. We do request, or we do say, like, attend all the courses you can register for, obviously knowing 81% say that sometimes scheduling does become a barrier in the end. And that the research is always ongoing for this project in regards to the intake of data on mental health and wellness impacts. So surveys prior to the course, right after the course, 3 months after the course, and 6 months after the course are always optional, but we always try and encourage. That's how we keep all of our training evidence informed. That's how we keep it evidence-based. That's how we're able to do the research to be able to say, yes, this is an effective way of doing training, and no, it's not. So we always encourage you to continue with the surveys if you can. This is just a screenshot of the CIPHER website. And if you click on the training tab, this blue tab right here, that's where you get all of the information in regards to our programming, and including our other treatment program, which is PSP-NET, and under Knowledge for You is where we have the 6 steps for finding a clinician, and a bunch of other toolkits for downloading available as well.
Thank you so much, Rachel.